I'm Josh Yarber, and this is Diamond Wise Stock Dogs. We're going to do a 3-part series on educating cattle with a stock dog. There's a lot of talk about what to do with your stock dog once you get it home. I'm not saying that this is the only way or the best way. This is just what works for us. So we've got a group here of about 130 head of calves. And these calves here have never seen a dog. They are completely fresh. So when it comes to educating cattle, ideally we would like to do this in a pen, but we don't always have that luxury. So we're going to do this in the pasture today. These cattle have never seen a dog. This is completely new to them. There's a couple things that a stock dog has to do. A stock dog has to be able to create movement and control movement. And the reason we need them to create movement, as you'll see here in a minute, this first introduction with cattle is crucial. You can see all these calves are going to come to this dog. They're curious. They want to see what this dog is. If you think about sheep tend to group together as a unit and move. So you need a dog that is more apt to control that movement. Whereas with cattle, they're more curious. So these cattle are going to drift to this dog to see what he is. I'm not worried about flanking him. You can see some of the calves kind of running off in the background. I'm not worried about running after them and stopping them. I just want these cattle to walk straight to this dog. This initial interaction is probably the most important interaction. So what you saw right there was those cattle came in contact with that dog, and the only way that a stock dog, specifically in this case a cow dog, can create the movement is they need to bite. Now he didn't actually make contact there, but he did take a move towards them. Those calves turned around and broke and ran, and then as long as he stands still and listens, what do these calves do? They come right back to a dog to see what he is. They're curious animals. So what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of continue through this process, and I'm going to flank him a little bit and move, and as those calves walk away, I'll just let him kind of pick up the slack. When those calves turn around to look at the dog, I just want him to stand still. If they come all the way to the dog, I want him to bite hard and bite hard once. Again, a dog only has one tool to create enough pressure on these calves to show them that it's uncomfortable to be by him. And the only way that he can do that is to bite. Now, these calves are leaving. I don't care where they go. I just want them to move away from the dog for right now. I'm not in a hurry to stop them or turn them or change directions. I just want them to move off of the dog. So what we're going to do is we're going to get these calves kind of up here on a fence line. We're here in central Kentucky. A lot of our pastures are set up this way. We don't, occasionally we'll have some big pastures, but this is a typical pasture for us. Some of these calves in this group are going to be replacement heifers. So throughout the course of their life, they're going to have to be pinned 2, maybe 3 times a year. And so they need to know how to move off of a dog calmly and quietly. So, I could bring a bunch of dogs out here and just pin these things, but that's not what this is about. I'm trying to create quality cattle that we can handle long term, whether it's myself, the gentleman that owns these cattle, or whoever it may be can handle them quietly and effectively. So we're going to get these calves up here on this fence, and the only thing I'm going to do is just kind of move them down a fence line a little bit. I'm flanking this dog around a little bit and just trying to draw some more of these calves in. I want them to come to him and see what he is and learn that it's uncomfortable in front of him. When you leave, if that dog's standing there staring at you and he walks towards you and you turn around and leave, there's no more pressure. But if you come to him, there will be pressure. So you can see they're going to kind of panic and scatter. We might flank him just a little bit, but we're not really trying to stop anything. You see how they kind of stopped on their own. I see a lot of guys get into a wreck because they panic and they see the cattle running and they want to shut them down. Well, these cattle aren't really ready for that yet. If I would have sent that dog on around, all they would have done is just ran right over top of him. That's not really effective for these cattle long term, the dog, or anything we're looking to achieve. So I'm just going to flank him over and a couple of the calves that are in the front. I'm not really too worried about that. That one wanted to run off and I just stopped him. So what did it do? It turned around and came back. I'm not going to make a big deal about it. Now after we've worked these calves 2 or 3 times, we're going to shut that calf down and we're going to show them that's not acceptable. You can't just run off. because you feel like it. But for right now, we're just going to take it as slow and easy as we can. Now this little dog here, this is Lenny, and Lenny is a 2 or maybe 3-year-old border collie. I'll have to take a look and see. He's a new to us dog. A good friend of mine in Alabama started this dog, and we've gotten him from Alabama, and we've been using him. This is his first time on a real job, so he's going to make some mistakes. The most important thing though is that I can handle him and I can put him where I need him to be when I need him to be there. These calves kind of drift up here into a top corner, but it's no big deal. We're doing the same thing. I'll flank that dog around and we'll bring those calves right back out of that corner. So we've spent some time pushing these calves around. The only time I have flanked him in front of them or sent him in front of them is when they have stood still. I think these cattle are handling pretty good. They're moving off of him well. There have been several calves that have walked to him that have gotten bit. So I'm going to send him around them to see if they check up when they see him. I just want to see if they slow up and stop. That lets me know that we're heading in the right direction. The last thing that I want to do is pull these calves off of this fence before they're ready. Because if I do that, they don't know to stop off of that dog. I don't want them to learn that they can just pick their heads up and run over a dog. You know, that's something we have to take into consideration when we're educating cattle, is these are dogs. They can only do so much. You know, they're here to be a team player. I need them to work hard, but I don't want to overuse them. I want them to be a willing partner that helps me. So in order for them to help me, I need to help them. So I try to set them up for success. So we've moved these calves up and down the fence line and just kind of milled around in the pasture for a little while and just getting them accustomed to everything. So I'm going to send Lenny around here, and he's going to make a small outrun. And we'll see him get in front of these calves. He's such a good dog. This young dog just impresses me every time I watch him work. I bought this dog with the intentions to sell him, and I don't think I'm going to be able to. He is such a useful dog. So right here, this is perfect. Those calves just all stopped. Now here come a couple walking to him maybe. Let's see what happens here. Good boy, Lenny. That's beautiful. That dog bit one calf, fell in and just walked. Now, as this progresses, these calves aren't going to be as apt to turn and leave. We're going to teach these calves that when you get bit, it's not about panicking. And here's how it starts. Those calves kind of start trotting off the other way. What do? We send Lenny around them. What a good young dog. He is just absolutely fun to watch. He's probably one of the tougher young dogs that I think I've had here. And he just keeps getting better and better. Now it's a little out of camera sight, but we just repeat that process again. So those calves were walking, flanked him around, stopped him. Here they come again. Now, they're leaving a little harder than what I'd like to see, but we're going to start tightening that down. Lost sight of Lenny. Where'd you go, Lenny? A few stragglers probably went up to the corner. There's a corner right up here, right behind that big tree. You can see I probably had a few that went up there. We just can't see him here on video. Ah, there he goes. You know, when we use these dogs, I try to tell everybody the best thing for a stock dog is for them to be a 50-50 mix. You know, you need to be able to handle them and control them and put them where you want them, but they also have to be able to work on their own. So you'll see Lenny's going to get a little bit of that. He's going to get a little bit of mechanics here, and he's also going to get a little bit of working on his own and thinking on his own. Oh, you good dog. That was beautiful. Those calves are drifting over that hill. He saw those calves, realized he wasn't to the front, kicked himself open, and went on around. That's phenomenal. He is going to make a really, really nice dog. We've bred him to a couple females here, and I'm really, really excited about the pups we're going to get out of Lenny. What an outstanding young dog. That's absolutely perfect. Now, if you noticed, I stayed up on top of that hill. I'm going to just sit up there and let him bring these calves to me. Oh, good boy, Lenny. Strong, strong head dog. That's what it takes to be a good cow dog. And then just falls in and walks. That's great. He created the movement. Now he can calmly and effectively control the movement. You'll see the rest of these calves come up on the other side of the fence. Now, oh, look at that one. He thought he wanted some. I could watch that all day. Now that's all right. Lenny made a little bit of a mistake and walked past that calf. That's okay. We'll just stop him. Let the group back up. Now fall in and go back to work. Good boy, Lenny. He's a little confused. He sees these calves on the other side of the fence. That's a little bigger group. We're going to dog break that group as well. We're going to use 2 dogs on that group. Seems like anything over 50 head, it's just kind of nice to have an extra dog. Seems like you can do it with just one. It just takes a little bit longer. This doesn't really look like much, guys, but I promise you this is going to speed things up so much more the next day. And the 3rd day is even faster. We're going to do this in 3 days. These calves are only going to get worked 3 times, and on the 3rd day, we're going to the pens. And we're going to show you how effectively you can pen these calves. right, we're going to send Lenny around these calves and let's just stop them. They're handling so good now. I rode my horse up into that corner and they're kind of wanting to move off of me. They kind of spread out. What a good young dog. I know I keep saying that, but man, that is phenomenal. Those calves separated a little bit. He put the big picture together. Look at Lenny. What a good dog. So right now, I'm not saying anything to him. He's just figuring it all out. He's just working. Stopped himself, got up, falling right back into work. Good pace right there. Gives those cattle every chance that he can for them to leave. Very patient. Look right there. Calf's looking at him. Now those may be on the other side of the fence. It's hard to tell. I think the one right in front of him standing there. Yeah, it is. He's giving that calf every chance to leave. Look at that. Didn't have to bite. Created that movement. It's not always about biting cattle, guys. Sometimes they just need to give them a chance. The thing is that they need to be able to back it up. Just like that right there. If something tries them, they have to be able to back it up. Now these calves are just kind of wadded up looking at me. They don't really know what to think about me. Most of the time when they've seen somebody, they've picked up their tails and ran off. And so this is a big deal. This is a very big deal that these calves are just standing here this quiet. Now it does help that these others are on the other side of the fence. We're going to use that to our advantage. By all means. We're going to use everything we can to help us. You know, would it be a lot cooler if I laid down 2 or 3 dogs and I just let them whoop up on these cows? Maybe. Some people would enjoy it. But that's not how I like to handle cattle. You know, the gentleman that's letting us do this on his cattle, this is a good friend of mine, Cage Cruz with CC Cattle Company. You know, he's got a lot of money invested in these calves, and the last thing he wants to do is see them run all over the pasture. So we need to be respectful when we go in to do these jobs for people. If somebody's gracious enough to let us bring a stock dog, the last thing we want to do is leave a bad taste in their mouth about how a dog works or should work. Our job is to get cattle pinned, educate cattle, and keep them quiet. And that's exactly what we're doing here, guys. This is good stuff. Good young dog learning how to do some work. Good boy, Lenny. Good boy. Lenny is obsessed with ears. We tell everybody he doesn't yell at any cattle. He gets right up there and whispers in their ear exactly what they need to do. Now this is good. This is good. He tried to get up there and get that cow stopped. Fell a little bit short. That's okay. That calf wanted to run off. He saw his buddies. So we stopped him. Let that calf pause for a minute. And then sent Lenny around him. There's no point in putting them in a situation where they're going to lose. Aha! Don't forget those 3. Good boy, Lenny. This is great. Look at these calves. Just turning around and walking away. Except one. There's always one. That's why we have dogs. Right here, Lenny's just working on his own. We're not telling him anything. And this is very, very important for a young dog to learn to see the big picture and see everything. He needs to keep an eye on all these calves. Sometimes I may be riding off to the pens or I may be doing something. I may be getting a gate, putting mineral out. So I don't need to micromanage him all the time. I need him to pay attention and do his part also. And this is exactly how they figure it out. You have to have the mechanics and the tools there to be able to help that dog when they need help. You know, you don't just turn your farm help loose in a $100,000 tractor and tell them to go put hay out and hope it all works. You make sure they understand how the tractor operates, how things work, so you can help them along when they need a little bit of help. Same thing with these dogs. My goal one day is to be able to use him without saying very much at all to him. But right now, that's not realistic. So I want to set him up to win, not to fail. I want him to feel like he can do anything. And this is how we get that done. Now this is perfect. This is exactly what I want to see out of these calves. They're quiet. I can move this dog all around them, and they're quiet. We're going to find a place to quit here pretty soon because I don't want to do too much with these calves. This is exactly where I want them to be, comfortable. This dog's moving left and right. Nobody's picking their tails up. Nobody's trying to run off. They're letting the dog stop them. They're letting the dog turn them. It doesn't get any better than that. Now, I know some of you watching are going to say, well, yeah, they're quiet. There's 80 head of calves on the other side of the fence. That is true. But right after we did this video, these calves got moved to different pastures. So the next videos you see, these calves won't be anywhere near their friends. And it's going to be all new for them. They're not going to have anything else to balance on. You'll see how quiet these calves are and how educated they are to a dog. Especially the last day when we go to pin these calves. It's a pretty wild video. It's pretty cool. So we're going to find a place to quit here with Lenny pretty soon. Please, guys, stay after it. Watch what we're doing. We've got 2 more videos coming out really, really soon. The next one's going to be with 2 dogs educating that next group you see on the other side of the fence, at 80 head of cattle. That's going to be a little bit different. I'll show you a little different way to do it. But I hope you guys really enjoy these videos as much as we do. This is what we love, educating people about stock dogs. Please, please, please keep watching. We've got a lot more cool videos coming out.